Hi everybody, my name is Rochelle and this is my channel. And today I will be talking to you about basically my childhood life. Okay, I'm just gonna start off. As a child, I knew this is basically about having dreams, stuff like that. Like, I, as a child, didn't really think much of nightmares and stuff like that. Like, whatever, it happens to everybody. And I was actually just talking to a friend, and I told him, as a child, I always had nightmares. Like, I never had good dreams. Like, I've never had a good dream ever. And, like, it was, I don't know, I never thought it was an issue. I never brought it up to my parents when I was younger. I still have really bad nightmares. Like, I don't really have dreams. I have night terrors and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it's always been normal for me. And my friend was like, that's a real mental issue. I was like, I probably should have gone to the doctors for that when I was younger, but I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't know any better. I don't know, like, I've never thought of that. Like, I never even thought of it as a child. Like, oh, that's what I have. So, like, literally realizing that, it just kind of like blew my mind, like, oh my god. No wonder why I have a lot of mental thingies going on there. But like, that could honestly explain like a lot of the reasons why I had really bad anxiety and depression and a lot of eating disorders. And those are different videos that I have for later. um, But as a child, I always grew up. Every time I go to bed, I'd go to bed really early, and so like 7, 8, 8:30. Like, I was always in bed. Like, my parents were always like, "Oh, okay, she's in bed early. That's normal." I've always done that, and so I always remember waking up and basically be like completely sweating, like in tears, like shaking, like heart racing from what I thought was just a bad dream. And a lot of my dreams are very vivid. Like, I can see details, I can see so much in my dreams, and it's scary because as a child you don't expect to see that. And for me, I was never able to like watch any like horror movies, nothing like that. The first horror movie or the scary movie I watched was The Grudge. Like, that was awful. I was only 13. Like, my mom is very religious. She doesn't let us do stuff like that when I was younger. And so it was just terrifying to like wake up out of that and then just be like, oh, okay, it's okay. Because it happened like sometimes 3 times out of a week. I would get night terrors, and like, I didn't even think anything of it. Like, I get random ones, like really weird ones where I would like wake up suffocated. I'd be like suffocating by like a bubble, and like just crazy, crazy shit, and like freaky demons, and like, it was so vivid in my mind. Like, they were literally right there. Like, most people are like, oh, you can tell it's a dream. No, like, I thought I was in it, real life, going to die. And it was weird. Like, I'd have really weird ones, and then they would start to morph into something that's 10 times even more crazy, and I would just wake up with an anxiety attack and panic attacks and just all this crazy emotion, and I didn't understand it. But I mean, what was I supposed to do? I didn't know any better. So, and I never really told my parents because I wasn't that close to my parents, I guess. So, but I had, there's like a couple different dreams that I remember, and there was one where it was like a mall that we were running through, and it was me and my sibling. And when we were running through, we turned a corner, and this guy that was in my dream, I don't know how he got there. I don't know how this event happened. Like, there was just like multiple events that like ended up going into it that were like really scary and freaky too, but I can't really remember those as well. But I remember we were just running through this mall from this guy who had a gun, and he was coming after us, and it literally felt like I was in the dream. like real. It was terrifying, especially as a child who's only like 10, 11, 12 years old and who doesn't even watch horror movies or anything like that. Like, and so I remember turning a corner with my brother, and I look back at the corner, and this guy with the gun comes up and shoots my sibling in the chest. And like, it's not just like, oh, he gets shot, whatever, you're fine. No, it's vivid. It's the gunshots loud through my ears, screaming. I didn't wake up screaming, I don't believe, at that moment. I think because I'm pretty sure my mom and dad would have known. But I guess I was so used to having these, I didn't really do that. But it was so intense. Like, I saw blood, I saw the wound, I saw the gun, I saw the bullet. It was like everything in my mind just like slowed down and saw every little piece of it, and it was just terrifying. And I actually, when not technically not too long ago, but like a couple years ago, I had a terrible nightmare. Like, for once, I was not having nightmares. I was like, okay, that's awesome. Like, I'm not getting as good enough sleep to like fall into a deep enough sleep to have nightmares. Like, that's awesome. Like, I was really happy about that because I've always had very creepy, very realistic, terrifying dreams. And for once, it was like, whoa, that's weird. I feel better. I'm not as anxious all the time. Like, even during the day, like, I'm not anxious. I don't have any worries. And it was just amazing to feel that way. And so, randomly, about 2 years ago, maybe, yeah, at least 2 years ago now, I wasn't dating my boyfriend at the time. And we were just, like, getting in the in-between stages of, like, oh, we're gonna try this out, you know, not date, but, like, we're gonna hang out and see how this goes, see where it goes. And I just remember, I think it was like a day or so after he had come over, the next time I had a terrible nightmare, I woke up to the point where I was crying. I could not stop crying. Like, I had anxiety so bad, like, for hours on end, my heart was just racing, and, like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stop crying. Like, I even had to tell, like, my brother and, like, his girlfriend at the time, like, oh, I'm just not feeling good today. I think I'm sick. You know, like, I didn't know how to explain to them, like, my nightmare was to the point that it overwhelmed me. And it was another one of my siblings that was in my nightmare. And it was a lot of my nightmares, a lot of them are people that are very close to me that that end up either committing suicide in my night terrors, or someone ends up killing them. And it's very overwhelming, especially as a child, or especially as like a young teenager, or just a young adult in general, like, to have those dreams so vivid to the point where you just, the rest of the day, you cannot function. Like, I could not get out of bed. I could not move. I was frozen. I was just crying all day. And I've never had to that extent, because this one was even more intense. It wasn't like, oh, you know, getting shot and stuff like that. Like, I've had those dreams all the time, you know. I kind of started to get used to them. Like, okay, I'm fine, you know. Still had, like, anxiety and everything, but I was okay. You know, I could get on with my day a little bit better. But this one hit me to the point where I couldn't function. I couldn't even talk to my boyfriend. That he, at that time, like, he wasn't my boyfriend at that time, but I couldn't talk to him. Like, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to call him. He kept calling me and calling me and calling me. I had no idea what was going on. Like, it was just so awful. And my dream was about a sibling of mine, and I can remember it so clearly now, and it's just overwhelming, almost, kind of. And I'm trying not to, like, get too emotional. But my sibling had hung themselves, and I remember clearly in this dream, like, seeing every little detail in their skin, in their face, in the rope and everything, and it was just so overwhelming. And And to see that and then be like taken back a lot because you love your siblings. That's you know, like they're your family. To have that and then realize and not think that they're alive. Like I woke up and I think I even called my parents. I was like, "Hey, where's Ryan? You know, what's he doing? Blah 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 blah." And they're like, "Oh, he's fine. Just at a friend's." So I still, like, even when I called them, I still couldn't get that in my mind. Like, "Oh, he's okay. Oh, he's okay." No, like I saw everything, like black and blue, purple, every detail, and it traumatized me. And it's very difficult to wrap your head around something when it's that vivid, when you've always grown up with it. Like, and you know, I mean, you get to a point where you're like, "Oh no, it's okay." Like, no, it's just a dream. But when it's been so long and you haven't had a dream like that before, it 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 hits you very hard over again. And I experienced a lot more anxiety that month and the month after that. Like, it was overwhelming a lot. And I maybe I should get help for this. I don't know. Part of me wants to get help for like anxiety, but I've come so far and overcome so much at this point in my life. It's kind of like I could do more. Like I can do this. I can overcome this. And I mean, what can they really do? I don't want to be on any medications that are going to change how I am or who I am, you know? Like I don't want to be just like a lump on a log. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to act that way. Like I don't want my head to be cloudy or anything or have no emotions. Um, but yeah, that's my story. Like I had night terrors my whole life, and yeah, and I just wanted to do a YouTube video and get more personal because I really haven't told many people about this. I think I've only told maybe 5 people, maybe, and it I don't even know, maybe even 3 because I kind of am personal about some things, like I don't know, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the story. Not technically enjoyed, but understood. And if you know where I'm coming from, if you have these experiences, like totally, totally comment and share your story, or at least like keep in touch. And yeah, we can be night terror buddies. All right. Have a fun day. See you guys later. Bye.